Video I'm going to show you how to make a folding bushcraft bow saw for under £5. This actually will have cost me £3 as I got this piece of wood free from a neighbour that had it chucked out. It was doing some building work. So just a cheap bow saw blade, this little pack of fittings from the cheapy hardware store. It's just got 2 wing nuts, 2 M6 bolts and a piece of paracord. That's all the materials you need. Tool wise, you're going to want a saw, tape measure, pencil, possibly a plane or a file. So I'm just going to start now and show you step by step how to do this. First step with my trusty Dremel is with a worn down disc, so it's a much smaller diameter. Very carefully you're going to cut the middle bit. Obviously this blade's designed to fit a couple of sizes of saw, so it's got a choice of holes. So if you carefully cut the middle bit out, that's going to allow for the folding action later on. It's very important when you do this to not get the blade too hot, otherwise it'll mess the temper of the steel up and could make it soft, so when you're actually going to use the saw or tension the saw and start actually cutting, it might break the blade. So when you actually cut this bit out, don't let the metal get too hot, just tiny little bits at a time until you've cut this middle piece out of both ends of the blade. So I'm going to get on and do that now. Now that centre piece is cut out, just get one of your bolts and just make sure it runs clear up and down both of those now notches in the blade, and nothing's going to catch. If so, you could just go back in there and just with the grinder carefully and just trim them out. So that's step one out of the way, and move on to the next step. The next step is to lay your blade on your piece of wood, and then you want to leave about ½ an inch at each end of the blade, and then obviously I've marked it to cut, and then you want to carefully mark on your blade, through the hole in the blade, sorry, on the inner end, a couple of holes, and you're going to drill those out. Mine are going to be 6mm because that's the bolt hole size and the size of the saw. It's important when you lay your blade on that you've got the teeth edge level here, because these are going to be the end handles and they're going to fold down and completely encapsulate the blade inside the wood. So when you store it in your bag, your blades are not going to be able to damage any of your stuff or rip your bag. So next step is to make this cut. Then you find the centre of this piece of wood and then cut that in half again. So I'm going to do that now. That's the handles cut out. The next step is to drill the holes for your fitting bolts to hold the blade in. So I'm going to get on and do that now. Once you've got your holes done, you're going to make a couple more cuts. What you're aiming for now is to make a cut down the middle, exactly in the middle, the width of your saw blade. Mine's 20mm, so I've got to come up 20mm, and you want a saw with a blade at least as thick as your bow saw blade, because obviously this is going to be the folding action, and your the blade's going to get swallowed up inside these handles when it's all folded up. The other cut you need to make is down the end where the hole is. Just come down past the hole, but just straight down the middle here, just past below where the hole is. So when you fold your saw out, all that material's removed so the blade can rotate inside the handle. So I'm going to get on and do these cuts now. Now I've got one side cut, So I'm just going to demonstrate. You see the blades definitely flush inside the handle, and then a little bit of pressure and it'll fold out. So I'm going to do the other one now, and then we'll move on to the next step. Right, now the cuts for the blade have been made, there's a couple more on each handle you want to do. All depends, all of this depends what size blade you've got. The one that I've brought is about 18 inches long, I suppose. So it all depends for the handle size. All the measurements are just rough. There's no exact plan. It depends what timber you've got. This is about 2 inch by 3/4 of an inch, and the next series of cuts, well, marks for the cuts you want to make on the back edge. So the hole is obviously on the inside. On the back edge, you want to mark a little notch out about 3/4 of an inch or an inch down, and then just down from that on the inner face, you want to. This on mine, I've done it 7 inches up, but you want to mark a little notch, the thickness of a piece of this wood. So get those marked up, and then we're going to cut those out now. So there they are with the notches out. You might just want to use a sharp knife and just clean it all out inside after you've used the saw, just to get it all nice and smooth and level. So now we're going to go on to the next bit. So now assembled up to this point, the blade's in, put the bolts through with the wing nuts. So now you should be able to undo your side handles quite easily and fold them out. The next step, with the handles pulled tight, so they're fully extended out, you want to take the measurement from the middle of this handle to the middle of this handle, and that'll give you the measurement for your centre support that's going to sit in between here. So I'm going to cut that now. Once you've got the support bar cut, the next thing you want to do is lay your saw assembly on top, and so there's an even spacing from the edge of your support bar to the outside on both handles, and then you want to mark the position of this notch on both ends. Make sure everything's fairly even. It's not rocket science, I haven't got to be precise. I'm not going to even bother getting a tape measure out. And once you've marked the position of this notch on this piece of wood, then the support bar, we're going to be cutting the notches out of the ends so the whole thing sits together. So I'm just going to do that now. So from marking where the notch is on the handle now, if you just literally roughly mark down on your wood, this is going to be the waist, and that's going to create your notch. So I'm just going to notch that out. Now it's notched out and sat in there, we need to make a loop of cord that will go around the top, just a continuous circle loop, fairly tight fit onto there. And the next step after that is to make a wooden strip, probably, I don't know, 10mm thick, and that is going to be used to wind up and give us the tension on our blade. So I'm just going to do that now. So you can see it's the finished saw. You could round the edges off with some sandpaper or plain, paint it, stain it, do what you want. The peg I made just by splitting a piece of offcut with my knife, and then just use the edge of my knife and rounded it off so it's not going to cause any damage to the cord. And you simply just keep twisting it and twisting it and twisting it, and that will put enough tension on your blade, and it'll just lock itself under tension against the side. Just literally cut a piece of this to show you it in action. there you go. And of course, if you want to pack it down into your bag, you just take it apart into its component parts and fold it down. So I'll just do that now and show you how you'd store it. Here it is, all folded up. You can see, quite compact. You could stick that down in your rucksack. There's no sharp edges of the blade exposed to do any damage. You could even notch in the centre bar, the tensioning bar, and store some more cordage on it, spare cordage. So there you go, all folded up and no sharp edges. Just one thing about the saw, I just want to reinforce how thick this piece of stick is. This is wound up under some serious tension. If you haven't got this wound up, the cord you're using as well should be brand new, as strong as you can get, like 550 cord, because if you haven't got enough tension on this, then the saw could fold down on itself, the whole frame will move. So the tensioning of the top of the handles is crucial. And also, once you've got it tensioned up, don't forget to do your wing nuts up nice and tight, and then you'll have a nice solid saw that won't fold up on you. So I just wanted to get to the point of, you know, how crucial it is that this top is as taut as possible. So there you go. I hope you like the saw and have some fun and build one yourself. And it folds down nice and, you know, compact. You can keep it in your bag and you'll always have a saw on you then. And anything for under £5 is a bargain. A little bit of time, but there you go. Thank you very much. For more bushcrafting and survival videos, please check out my channel and subscribe. Cheers.